If you've been confused by conflicting headlines about intermittent fasting, you're not alone. One study says it's revolutionary, the next says it's no better than regular dieting. But here's the secret that will immediately clarify most of this confusion. Pay attention to whether studies are isocaloric or hypocaloric. These technical terms might sound boring, but understanding them is the key to making sense of diet research. Isocaloric means equal calories. In an isocaloric intermittent fasting study, researchers make sure participants eat the same total number of calories whether they're fasting or not. They might compress all that food into an 8-hour window, but the total energy intake matches a control group eating normally throughout the day. These studies are testing whether meal timing itself has metabolic benefits independent of calorie restriction. And honestly, the results from isocaloric studies are often underwhelming. When calories are matched, the special benefits of intermittent fasting tend to evaporate. Blood sugar improvements are minimal, weight loss is similar, cholesterol changes are comparable. Hypocaloric studies are different. These involve actual calorie reduction, and many intermittent fasting studies are hypocaloric even if they don't explicitly say so. Here's what happens in real life. When you restrict your eating window, you naturally tend to eat less. You skip snacks, you miss eating opportunities, and unless you're very deliberately compensating with larger meals, your total intake drops. Studies that allow free-living intermittent fasting without strictly controlling calories are really testing a calorie restriction intervention delivered through time restriction, not testing the effects of timing alone. This distinction matters enormously. If you read a study showing that intermittent fasting led to significant weight loss and metabolic improvements, you need to ask whether participants were eating fewer total calories. If they were, then the study isn't telling you that timing is magic. It's telling you that time restriction helped people achieve a calorie deficit, which we already know causes weight loss and metabolic improvements. That's still useful information. It suggests that for some people, restricting eating windows is an effective way to reduce calories without tedious calorie counting. But it's a different claim than saying timing itself has unique metabolic effects. The confusing part is that many studies fall somewhere in between these extremes. Researchers might instruct participants to eat normally within their restricted window, but they don't strictly control the food provided. Participants self-report what they eat, and we know self-reporting is notoriously unreliable. Some inadvertent calorie reduction probably happens, but we can't be sure how much. These studies give us messy, hard-to-interpret results because we can't clearly separate timing effects from calorie effects. Here's my advice for reading intermittent fasting research. Always look for whether the study controlled total calorie intake. If it's truly isocaloric, with researchers providing all food or carefully monitoring intake, take those results seriously, but understand the benefits might be modest. If it's a free-living study where people chose what to eat, any benefits might come primarily from spontaneous calorie reduction rather than timing. Both findings can be useful, but they're answering different questions. One tells you about metabolic timing effects, the other tells you about the practical effectiveness of time restriction as a dieting strategy. The real-world implication is this: intermittent fasting might work wonderfully for you not because of circadian magic, but because the structure helps you eat less without feeling deprived. And that's actually okay. You don't need a special metabolic mechanism for a diet to be effective. If restricting your eating window makes calorie control easier and more sustainable, that's reason enough to use it. Just don't expect benefits beyond calorie restriction, and don't force yourself into an eating window that makes you miserable if you're someone who easily compensates by eating more during your allowed times.